Okay, and if you see here, it says there are 4 ways of entering into the womb. Gabba Vakkanti Desana. This is very important for us. How did we enter? Okay. The first thing is, we don't know how did we enter. And we don't know how we stayed there. And we also don't know how we emerged from there. And that's our truth today. So, yes, sir, you go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt, but I mean, we could have been aware, but we forgot about it.
Which means the same.
Okay.
So at least in my case, I was able to see how I entered. Not then, but now. Few years ago, I could see. Okay. And I couldn't remember how I stayed. I don't even remember now how I came out. That's the first thing. Okay. Anybody here who is aware, how did they come? How did they stay? How did they come out?
Nope.
Right. So the first thing we need to know is this one. We have to practice to know this. Okay.
Do we know that in, let's say, in one of the jhanic states, or like?
Yes, when you get into the jhana, when you get into the jhana and when you start vipassana, you will get it. You will get to see. Okay. But do you see everything of it? No. So when you get the past lives, then you know each one of them. So how did you enter? How did you stay? How did you exit? There is Chirag. Hi Chirag, we just started. So the bus just started.
Yeah, I'm usually the last one to come.
That's okay. At least you came.
Glad to have you.
Yeah, good to be here.
Yeah, so we are talking about how did you enter in this world of suffering. So somebody enters into the mother womb, is not aware how they came there, how they remained there, and how they came out. That's the first stage, or first state, I could say. Okay. Then when we move to the second one, so, but they are aware when they enter, but they are unaware as they remain there, and they are unaware as they emerge out. The second way of conception. But they are aware of their entry. They don't want to enter, but still the karma makes them to enter, so they are aware. But once they sit in the, just like I sit in a plane, I don't want to fly, but I forget all about it, because now I have a boarding pass and I start enjoying sitting there. So they stay there and they don't know anything after they emerge out of it. So once the child is born, is a human, if it is an animal or whatever it is, so it doesn't know. So the basic reason why it is called Vijnana is because it is not aware. So Vijnanam Anidasanam Anantam Sabbata Pabam is said because it's supposed to be like that. But instead it becomes something else. Okay, so it is not aware that there is a conception in the mother's womb. It's unaware that it is stayed there. It's unaware of coming out. Second state, it's aware of entry, but it is unaware of staying there and is unaware of coming out. The third is they are aware of entry, they're aware of staying, but when they come out, they forget. They get overwhelmed by objects of the senses. So then they become totally unaware. So let's say a child is born and the people around it are making it play and all that. It forgets all about its stay, knowing the stay and knowing the arising, meaning entry into the womb. So as it grows, it forgets all about it. Doesn't even remember. And the fourth one is they're aware of the entry, they're aware of the stay, and aware as they emerge out. Okay? These are the four kinds of conception. Any questions? Yeah, Shreyas.
So for the first three kinds, right? So even if the being is aware of something, let's say for the third one, especially as they're also aware of it when they remain there, but once they come out, like you said, with the surroundings, so even if they, so sometimes they can remember, right? But it will be like bits and pieces.
That is not remembrance. Only when there is pain, then they try remembering why they came. Let's say somebody's, see, it happens. So it's called as smashana vairagya because it's like you are in viraga because of somebody dying. So when you go to the cremation ground, the person feels that there is no point and there's nothing there in this life and all that. And if he were to contemplate at that point in time, he will remember some bits and bits of his entry and staying there and exit. But in general, once he comes out of it, and that's life as usual.
Right. So you need a certain conditioning again to remember.
Yes, so the consciousness is always conditioned in a positive way or in a negative way.
Correct. Okay.
Right, so now you just see this example. Now, Luke is the son of Ariu. And Ariu has a father. Okay. Now, Ariu is himself a father. And that father, Ariu and his son, are three consciousness? No. They are the same consciousness in three bodies called as son, father, grandfather.
Right.
Now, when you ask Ariu, do you have your father? And he would say yes. Does he really believe in that he has a father? And the answer is yes. Does he feel he has a father? The answer is yes. Are you experiencing your father? And the answer is yes. As much as he's experiencing Luke.
Right.
That's called being unaware.
Right.
The same thing with all of us. If you ask Bobby, do you have children? And he would say yes. Do you love your children? And he would say yes. What's the difference between your children and you? He says, they are my children. And he has two daughters. And Shreyas, you are not married, but you would be. Then you would say, I have my girlfriend. Right now, if somebody were to ask. And then you will say, I have a wife. Then you will say, I have a daughter or a son. And then if you have another child, you will say, I have two children. So this is how a consciousness becomes unaware.
Right.
If I ask Supriya, she has two children. If I ask Janak, he has two children. If I ask Chirag, he doesn't have a children, but he has a wife. Isn't it the conscious experience which is happening to you?
Yeah.
No matter how much you try to clean, when you see, when Harry sees Luke, he can't say, I don't know who you are. Okay. So like,
He can't say.
yeah, he can't say.
Putri-
Yeah, like Harry loves to smell his son's body. Just imagine a filth. Who would love to smell? You tell me that. And my wife is sitting in front and she says that I love to smell my son. Okay. So what do we do? You can't do anything because you are the consciousness, right? So you are having a conscious experience. So basically, yesterday I was telling Supriya, when we all meet in that, the first time when we see, we are seeing as each individual persons. Okay. And each person is a consciousness plus the body. But what you see is a person. You will never see the consciousness.
Yeah.
Now what to do? So Buddha says, or Sariputta says, there are 4 kinds of conception. 1, not being aware when at entry, not aware while staying, not aware while coming out. 2nd, aware of entry, because that at that moment you have decided I shouldn't enter. But karma is so strong because of sankharas that it pulls. It pulls. The consciousness is helpless. It establishes. It's aware. But as soon as it is established, it becomes unaware. And then unaware of exit. Meaning exit in the sense that once you come out of the body, once you come out of the mother's womb, do you remember? And the answer is no. Forget that. Do you remember that you are going to die? And the answer is no. Forget anything else. If you ask anyone, do you see tomorrow? And he says yes. So confident. Even though everybody knows there is no tomorrow. But believe, trust, feel that there is tomorrow. That's what Vijnana means. Jnana is knowledge. Vijnana means no knowledge. So that's the reason it's called Vijnana. And since we don't have a concept like that, that's called Atma. Because it keeps on establishing. Okay. Now, Vijnanam Anidasanam. It's supposed to not establish. If it establishes, it's called as an Atma. When there is an Atma, it keeps on going from one body to another body, to another body, to another body, to another body, because there is fuel and fire. As soon as there is a fuel, there is a fire. As soon as there is a fire, there is a fuel. So whether the fuel runs out or the fire runs out is the question. Answer is, as long as the fuel exists, there is fire. And when the new place is given, again there is fuel and fire. So the fire keeps on moving wherever there is fuel. So fuel catches the fire or the fire catches the fuel. It's a wrong question. As long as the fire exists, just like a lamp, an oil lamp, as long as the oil is there, and the wick is there, the lamp is there. That's consciousness. And that's the reason when we light a lamp, it looks so nice. Because it's consciousness. And that's the reason you feel peaceful. Because it's consciousness. Consciousness is peaceful. But kleshas or the defilements, impurities make it look different. Okay. So the fourth one is what we should attempt, which we can't do it now, which a Samma Sabbunda can do. It is they conceive in the mother womb. They're aware. They're aware as they remain there, and they're aware as they emerge. And they're also aware of their extinguishment. Yes, are you?
Yeah, I mean, I read about these stories about Buddha's birth. I don't know if they're in the suttas or, but some say he started talking when he's, born and all that. That means he's completely aware of the entire process.
Yes.
And which means he retained his memory of all these three throughout his life as well.
Yes.
Mm. Which means he, by nature, almost know his past life. Almost.
Yes, absolutely. So this is the first part which I wanted to cover. Now I'll cover the second part, which is even more interesting and important. Okay. Then we can see what to do. Just give me a second. This is a very nice sutta. It's called Tamotama Sutta. And in Sanskrit and in Pali, this tamo means darkness. Here also in English, they have put it as darkness, but they have put dark and darkness. So there's a thing called dark and darkness. It's only darkness, right? So this is how it is. So as they emerge from the womb, this is our story. Okay. It's all of us sitting here, our story. And including my wife who is sitting in front of me. And whoever is here. So we are in dark. And we go to darkness. It's already dark. Meaning there's already tamo and we go even more tamo into it. Okay. Now what happens? This person starts eating his father and mother. He has no respect for anyone. He treats everyone as just for business. In the current life. So the first one is they're already in that. So they get a low family. So he's saying that Chandala. Okay. There is a sutta, Dona Brahmana Sutta. In that, Chandala Brahmana is there. So the continuation of that is this. So he is born in a low family and now he starts fighting that why am I born in this family? So he does all kind of nonsense things. Okay. And because he's aware, anyway, Vijnana is unaware, right? We just spoke about it. So instead of seeing that he deserved it, he fights with it. So now there is a friend who becomes friend with this person. And he supports him. Yeah, Bobby, it is AN 4.85. So he fights with he supports his fight, this person's fight. Wages war and battles and hitting each other and all of that. So as many duccharita he can do, he will do. Because this person who is born in a low family, has no food to eat, no money, no drink, no water, and life is tough, and food and shelter is hard to find. Now, why did he get such a life? Because he ruined his parents, taking all their money, making them penniless. This is the last human life he can have. And beyond that, it's hell. Forever. Forever means as many eons as it can take. So when I read this, I feel so sad for all those people whom I know are doing this. That's their last life. After this life, they get another human life to go down. So in that, they will not have parents, they will not have food, they will not have shelter, they will not have water, they will not have... If you remember, Ariu, when we were coming down from Patna, we saw a family, right? It's exactly the state what this person would be. It's just a wait and watch. The person dies and he becomes this. So he can accumulate as much as he can or she can. Okay, this is the first. So from tamo, darkness, tamo tama, double of that. Already it is dark. It's like, somebody tripping and he thinks he needs to trip again. He's already tripped. Somebody can lift him up now. But he thinks that I don't care. It's okay. I don't mind tripping back again. It's such a danger. And what he says here, you see, or people can be skinny or whatever it is, you see this. Such a nice one. And they're very ugly, unsightly, deformed, sickly, one-eyed, crippled, lame, half paralyzed. They don't get to have food, drink, clothes and vehicles, garland, fragrance and makeup, or bed, house and lighting. And since they are deprived, they fight. They say it's our right. Enjoy. So they do bad things in this life to go to the next level. So then what happens? When they do this, see now, you see this, a person is deprived. He doesn't get a job. He can't study. He can't read. He has all kind of ideas. I want to do this or do that. So they do all kind of nonsense things just to make things work, which wouldn't work anyway. Then they curse. They keep on cursing. Okay, so the fire keeps on raging. So they're always in anger. Then in Pali it is Kodhana, and in Sanskrit it is Krodhana. That is, you have so much of rage. So then I say it's my right, I will fight for my right, and this one and that one, blah, 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 all of that. So what would happen? Duccharita will increase. So they want to accumulate by any means. So now what happens? After this, they're directly in the hell. If they're born as human, they are living a life of hell so that they can stay in the hell forever. And that's how tamo hoti tama parayano. It's double. One tripping is insufficient. You trip again on your own accord. You say that I don't care. So somebody takes bribe, somebody takes being dishonest, somebody doing so many things, especially when somebody takes money from the parents and not repay. That's a horrible sin somebody's doing. And somebody sending the parents out of their own home in for it. So this is the first. Yes, sir.
This tamo or it's the same as the tamas in
Tamas, yes.
three kind of food. There's a tamas.
Tamas,
right?
yes.
Those kind of food make you dark.
Tamo means that which cannot show light. So when we have tamo food, means it's hard to digest. It brings in lethargy. It makes you slow. It makes you uncomfortable. All of that is tamo. So there's a word called manda. Yes, Chira, go ahead.
I was wondering if Tamo has any relation to yin, because I think in Chinese, the yin is also considered like a dark energy.
No, no,
I'm
no.
not sure.
No, that is, they talk, even in prana, you have two kind of prana. Okay, so yin and yang is equal to prana.
Okay.
But this is real darkness. So duccharita will start when the person what he desired doesn't get. Then he would like to do it just to get it. Okay. So that's and there's manda. I was about to say that and Chirag spoke something. So manda means, there's also a word used along with tamo is manda. And Buddha calls another word for that. He will say mogapuriso. Okay, it's all about manda. So one who is a drunkard in the past life will not have any intelligence in this life. If you look at the Duccharita Vipaka Sutta, if such a son or daughter is born to that parent, and the parent is equally dumb than the child, that means that parent also had good amount of alcohol in their past lives, because they are manda. And double of that is mogapurisa. That means you have no idea what you're supposed to do. So generally, a mogapurisa will get a mogapurisa or a manda child. That means that they don't have intelligence, they don't have sharpness. And they do all kind of nasty things, and the parents try to support that nasty thing because they are equally blind. And that also happens back to the like that. So you'll have the same kind of children of the being coming into existence because they all are the same. So one supporting the other. So if you have a duccharita, your children are also having duccharita. If you're having succharita, then you have a lot of your children or parents and everyone can have succharita. Then what's this case where the parents have duccharita but the child has succharita? Now, the residual of the duccharita made him to be born in a parent who is having duccharita. Then when he comes out of the womb, with the ending of that duccharita, the succharita will start. And another way, a succharita parent getting a duccharita child. Now, how this is possible? It is possible because the succharita is ended of those parents, or one of the parent, and slowly it will turn itself into a duccharita because things will not work. So when the things will not work, the succharita will be replaced with duccharita. Okay. So then the beg, borrow, steal will start. Basically, because I need whatever I want. I don't care. So both are possible, that a succharita parent can have a duccharita child and the duccharita parent can have a succharita child, because at some point in time that was there. Like there's one sutta where Buddha explains that somebody has seen, and then he has seen that a good person has gone to hell and a bad person has gone to heaven. How is it possible? So Buddha explains how it works. In the same way, a succharita person can have duccharita parent, and a duccharita child can have a succharita parent. Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, I did not catch exactly, but in general, does the children also get influenced? Let's say the children is Dukkharita nature.
Yes, absolutely right.
To get the Dukkharita, right? So that's if a kid is lesser than the parent, that means they could be on the way up, right? Chances are they're on the way up because the parent will influence.
See, it's like this. So let me give clarity to you. A Duccharita parent means what? They already always having Raga, Dvesha, Moha. And they don't mind getting it in any way. It doesn't matter whether to beg, borrow, steal, do whatever to get it, right? And they're totally lost in their comforts and getting in whichever means. So the means is not a problem. So like somebody wants to bribe and he doesn't mind it, taking it. Somebody wants to do some other nasty things, can be alcohol, drugs, and whatever 10 immoral deeds that can be done, and both the parents are willing to do it, but gets a Sucharita child, because the Duccharita has ended of this child, but the Sucharita started. Now the parents can influence the child, because the next step is to get into the Duccharita, because the Sucharita is going to end. So then what happens? The child will start copying the parents. Initial few years it is very good, because its Sucharita has to end. So it is talking nice things, right things, and the parent keeps on saying that that's not right, you don't know, blah, blah, all that. And the child gets influenced. And when the child gets influenced, it becomes Duccharita. And now all the three are in Duccharita, right? They are all doing the same thing, basically. So the consciousness does not remember, you please take this, does not remember that it's past life. Yes, go ahead.
And I guess it's hardly possible that the child does not get influenced much, right? It almost always get influenced.
Yes, absolutely. Let's say I'm born in a family with kind of rapist. What's the possibility that I might not rape anyone? Not much, right? Because I'm getting influence, or with very sensual people or whatever, right? So then in the childhood, you just make. So the child keeps on copying whatever the parent is doing, because he doesn't know. Can a 10-year-old know what to do? No. Can a 15-year know what to do? No. Because it gets influenced by the friends, also will start to get in the same kind. The environment also is prepared in the same way. Parents are anyway like that. Right? So then the child doesn't find anything wrong with his parents, because they are doing Duccharita. So this child is also doing Duccharita. So now all are doing the same thing. So all go to hell eventually. Right? So the reverse thing will happen. The Sucharita parent get a Duccharita child. Now, if the parents don't get influenced, throw the child out, they are done. But what's the possibility? Because the tamas is there, it will not allow you to send the child out. Instead, they try adjusting with the child. Right? So the Sucharita, what they had, will go away, and the Duccharita will start. So they start doing what the child is doing. Here earlier was the child is doing what the parents are doing. Here the parents are doing what the child is doing. So let's say the child comes drugged. The parent will support it because of the love for that child. Right? And somebody murders, comes back, and the parent somehow tries to hide this person, etc., etc. All the Duccharita will start because the child made the parent Duccharita, because they ended the Sucharita of the parent, and then the child Duccharita is copied by the parent. Yeah, are you?
Because in both cases, you gave the Duccharita are influencing the Sucharita. So are you saying the Duccharita have a higher contagious
No, let's take this example. The Sucharita, if it doesn't get influenced, let us say the parents are having Sucharita for a long period of time, they try mending the son or the daughter and it doesn't work, they throw the child out. So then their things are not changed. Why this child?
Like a tug of war.
Yes. So why this child was born to a Sucharita parent is that at the time of entry, he was having Sucharita. At the time of entry. Then, since he doesn't know the stay and exit, the Ducharita started. So the Sucharita was very for a short time. Right? So it ended. Then the Ducharita started to flow. The bad water started to flow. So when the child came out, it was stubborn, nagging, and this kind, always crying, always wanting something, and hitting, doing nonsense thing. And the parents, instead of mending the child, they start supporting the child because they now got into tamo. So the double tamo, right? Tamo tamasutta. So one tamo is you are seeing the child is itself a tamo. There's no child. That's one being which has come in your body. Throw it out. Actually. But no, it's my child. That tamo is the original tamo. On that you add another tamo, that this is my favorite child, it goes to school, bullies the children, and then it hits and does some nonsense thing, and then the parents are called to the school, and instead of mending the child, they try mend the teacher. Happens? Yeah. Why? Because they got into tamo. Because of that child. So they got influenced by the child, or the child got influenced by the parent? The parents got influenced by the child. So if the parent's tamo is increasing, that means it becomes like the child. So they all now together do wrong deeds because they get blinded. That's moha, total moha, darkness. So the tamo is that one tamo what you have brought, another tamo what the situation is demanding you to do it, right? And both tamo will add together. They just attached like this. Now there's no light. Hell realm is no light. Heaven realm is full light. So now you choose which one you want. For that you require viveka, discrimination. So the discrimination is a faculty of the buddhi, which is intelligence. So the intelligence is removed. It's called manda or moga purisa. So 99.99% of the persons who are tamo will not have intellect. They can't think. They're blinded. There's nothing you can do because they are bound to go down. Yes, Chirag.
So a couple of questions, but let's say respect to this conversation. Do you think intellect has any relationship to the amount of I forgot what's the opposite of tamo?
Tamo is jyoti, light.
No, let's say you were talking about the tamo and the other thing, right? What was the other thing you were talking about?
Moha.
No. The two types of parents and two types of child. One,
Sucharita, ducharita.
yeah, Ducharita, and the other one was
Sucharita.
Right. So I'm actually curious. What's your take on this? So let's say people who have good viveka or discernment, does that have anything to do with them being closer to light or not really?
Yes. So there are four kind of people, right? Jyoti. See this? Chirag?
Yes.
That's what it is.
So is viveka a quality of Jyoti?
Yes, 100%.
Wow, interesting. Okay, interesting. But then there are some people who are very brilliant, right? Let's say like Einstein or I don't know some brilliant scientists, but I feel not all of them will have Jyoti, just because they are very intelligent.
No. Intelligence doesn't mean that remembrance or doing some scientific thing and all that. It's a holistic one. Even the tamas is a holistic one. Okay, so what is holistic? Holistic means can know, discern what is right and what is wrong. You're able to get it. That's the viveka what we are talking about.
Right. And I think it's like this, this wisdom of what dharma is.
Yes, the wisdom is what is dharma and what is adharma. At that's the highest level. Then you come to the next level is about what should be taken, what should not be taken in anything. Can be in science, technology, medicine, then accounting, like that, any profession. What should be done and what should not be done, right? Because that flows from there. Then you come to the third one. What to pursue, what not to pursue. Then you come to the fourth one. What to study, what not to study. Then you come to fifth one. What to compare, what not to compare. Then you come to the sixth one. How should I stay and how should I not stay? So all coming out of the viveka. Right? Yes, Chira.
Is this list written somewhere?
No. But I know it. This list I can type it and send it to you.
I mean, actually, I'm typing right now. Can you say it in once more? Or maybe it's in the recording. So
It's anyway there in the recording. Yes, sir, you.
I have one question because you always bring help, right? When you say that to Charita, you always bring help. But does that mean, to some extent, this going up and down of the beings carries a very big momentum? You always have to hit the bottom of sorts before it starts reverting.
May
not be. Yeah,
may or may not be.
Because a lot of the times the Sutta said, or at least Japaka said, this person was in heaven for some and then immediately hell sometimes. So it seems like there's a good amount of variability in that.
Yes, why? Because it depends on the amount of duccharita or tamo. I really like this sutta, the way he has explained it in terms of tamo. In the Hindu scriptures, you only get tamo. You don't get the second tamo. So when I was reflecting on that, I said, wow, this is great. I was only looking at one. Now you can look at the second one. You already been blinded by something. There's no point in blinding second time. See, let's say I'm born in a cramped house. There's no point in asking for a big house. By that token that I know why I'm born this way, so just complete it. Don't ask for anything more. Because that's the santosa which he teaches in the Samanya Palasutta, is that you know the situation and just make what is required in that. So the second tamo doesn't happen. Otherwise there's a fight, right? Now I want to fight for my right. Not realizing that this tough life out I've got is from my own doing. See, in my case, personally, my parents, they both died without I doing anything. I didn't have to serve them, do anything to them. They just died, right? So there was no debt to be given to them. Otherwise, I should have taken them to the doctor, taken them, then there's their sickness, and then they might be bedridden. You have to do all of that thing, and then there's nothing wrong in doing it, but I should know why am I doing to these people, because I'm supposed to give back. So there's no point in blaming them, saying that what a parent, what a thing, I need to do this and blah, blah, blah. That's the second tamo. You are to do this because you have done that in the past. So there's no point in blaming. And the second tamo is the blaming, right? So now tamo tamo sutta. That means tamo tamo. You are adding more to whatever it is there at present because you don't want to accept what is happening. Rather, just leave that person alone. See, some parent is not good. You know he's not good or she's not good. Just leave it. Meaning, don't go near them. You serve them, but don't get influenced by them. The moment you get influenced by them, your sucharita is gone. They are eating away your sucharita and you are getting the ducharita. Anyway, they are having ducharita. What's the point in you losing your sucharita? So we need to develop discernment like that. That's a viveka. We need to have the discernment. Oh, this person is my parent. I'm supposed to give back whatever I've taken. So now I'm supposed to give it back. He is not having sucharita or she is not having sucharita. Be away, but yet serve. Yes, Edu.
Yeah, I was thinking from this darkness to light, because the majority of the story we hear so much is that these people are from poor families, and then sometimes the parents abuse, and then these people, somehow due to their discernment for better quality, they're able to get worldly success or something like that. That's the majority of the story we hear, right? Because these people, I guess these will be somewhat, to even get worldly success, they require light, right?
Exactly.
So these will be the Sucharita person in Ducharita families. And they're somehow able to break away, and because they got, fame, they're able to talk about these stories.
Yes.
But we also see a lot of, rich kids in rich family got completely spoiled. And
which is going to come next.
Yeah, okay.
After this is going to come. So basically, if I am in a poor background, by education, by this, by that, by family, by tradition, by whatever, 99.9% I will be doing ducharita. Because the condition is exactly meeting the requirement of ducharita. So I will be influenced by ducharita because I am having ducharita. Okay. There's remote possibility that I go into sucharita. Okay, if like in my personal thing, I am born to a family who didn't have any idea of whatever I'm speaking right now. They died without knowing. Okay, except for my mother, I tried doing something to her, but other than that, they are totally lost. But did I get influence from my childhood? No, not much. Okay. But why was I born in that family is because I was having ducharita at the time of entry. So as an outcome of that, you have to endure. So my father was physically abusive also. But that's what you get for being ducharita. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of your story, I was thinking, like, my parents are very different in qualities, right? My mom is more of a Sucharita person, although there's a lot of, issues. But my dad is more of a Ducharita person. But then at early age, they divorced, right? So the dad has his own family and his own kids. I don't have any debt to him anymore because I don't have to, pay back.
Exactly.
I'm going to try to phone here and there, but he has his own family. I'm more associated with my mom, and he's able to get some Dhamma, and he's able to get on this path. And that means I have some Ducharita, a mix. So I got this family where both are so diverse, but ultimately let's say Sucharita take over.
Yes.
And now I'm able to go this way.
Exactly, that's how it works. What if it is the other way around? You'll get sucked. So you will leave your mother and be with your father, because that makes it more sense to you. Yeah, Chirag.
So I think you have talked about this before, but how did you, let's say you had a father who was abusive, so how did you manage to not absorb ducharita from your father? Because you were living in the same home all the time, right?
Yes. So one good thing I have ever done in my life is not to argue with my father. Even though he hit me, did every nasty thing with me, I never used to hit back or do something. Because hitting back a parent is going to create more duccharita. I don't know how I couldn't do it, even though instigated, but that's the truth. Okay, until his death, he was like that only. He didn't change a bit.
It seemed like you were able to control your responses well.
Yes, with my parents, yes. Yeah, Vilas was a Lama in the past life. Yes, that was also proven. Yes, it's right. So anyway, Chirag, so the situation is, if I reflect my own personal life, Duccharita was there, Sucharita also was there. At the time of entry, Duccharita. At the time of exit, Duccharita. But over a period, Sucharita took over. So it's a change. Otherwise, I wouldn't have got such a parent.
Yeah, I think what it also means, I think, let's say for all of us to reflect on, I think it's really like snakes and ladders. And if you're not careful,
Yes,
a few missteps,
it is snake and
a few
ladder game
missteps
only.
yeah, let's say a few missteps can have very severe consequences, long-term consequences.
Yes, absolutely. You'll come back to zero. Starting point.
Minus, you're going to negative.
Yes, exactly. So basically, fighting with anyone is not going to solve the problem. Rather, you look, and that discernment, viveka, can only come if the second tamo is not there. Otherwise, we are in the second tamo, fighting with why am I facing this problem and that problem to find a solution. Like, going to an astrologer, getting some ring or getting this one, that one, and all of that is part of tamo.
Not fighting with your parent, your dad is not having a second tamo.
What's that? I didn't understand.
Sorry, not fighting with your dad in your case is not adding a second.
That's the second tamo, yes. Okay. In fact, my wife having Sucharita, she married a family which is having Duccharita for the Sucharita friend. Right? So then she had to undergo the same torture as I was undergoing.
Can you repeat that?
Instead of using Pali word, let me use in English, good-natured and bad-natured. So my wife, my current wife, who is my friend, school friend, okay, and she married me, which is a family of bad-natured or bad and nurtured natured. So she has to undergo the same problem, same situations, because her good nature ended having selected a bad-natured family or the son, the husband family. So now, I never fought with my parent, whatever they did. So she used to ask me, you should have done this, you should have done this, you allowed this to happen, that to happen. I just calmly took it over. If I had not done it, I would have been in hell. The next step is hell. Stopped it. Never fight with your parent. So just missed. Otherwise, my so-called wife would have pushed me in hell. Okay. Why I couldn't do it, even now when I read this, when I first time read it, it's feeling so emotional. I did it. With both of my mother and my father, I didn't fight throughout life. Okay. Even though whatever they were doing, I didn't care. So my wife used to find a lot of mistakes because for her it's something new. She has never seen like this. So she used to say that you have to stand, you have to do this, you stand for your right, and blah blah, all that. Good thing. Okay, so I missed. I should thank my stars, or I don't know what should I thank that I didn't get influenced. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Then the second one, right, which is what I am talking about mind. How does a person dark and bound for light? He is born in a low family, but they do good things by way of body, speech, and mind. There is that sucharita in that. So when the body breaks up after death, they are reborn in a good place, a heavenly realm. That's how a person is dark and bound for light. Okay. Any questions, Chirag? Are you clear on this one? I don't have to explain much.
No, it's all good.
All good. Okay. So both the parents are gone in my case. Okay. Didn't do any nasty things. And after my mother died, the Dhamma has increased a lot. Even my wife agrees with that. So for the last 7 years, if I take, it has just skyrocketed. Yes, Ariu.
So this samsara is a very risky place because for someone who could potentially be a saint can easily have gone the other way.
Yeah, absolutely. The situations are going to drive in such a way that you will take a decision which will plummet you down. Because it's all about going towards light or toward darkness. Yes, yes, Chirag.
No, I was just agreeing. I still continue to think over this. I think it's all like a moment of lack of awareness, or how should I put it? A moment of lack of caution is all it takes.
Yes, absolutely. To pull you down.
Yeah. So also one question I had is, but let's say you were not cautious in an earlier life, or in your earlier years, and like maybe you have done some bad deeds, So like, what do you even do? Because even if you do good deeds, doesn't mean that you might still remain as a human or go to the human realm. I guess you have to really be aware and cut out all those tendencies to prevent rebirth in lower realm. Otherwise, it's always possible.
That's correct. So the thing is, Chirag, is like this. When you are bound for light, you'll get some friends who will teach you how to get into light. If you are bound for darkness, you'll get friends or associates who will take you to darkness. Yes, Ariu.
No, I was just thinking that the tricky situation with darkness is that in darkness you cannot see light, right? So darkness helps prevent light. But even if there's one glimmer of light, if you're able to catch on to that, I think the salvation is always possible. Right?
Yes, absolutely. Even a small streak of light, that portion will get opened up. You'll see, my goodness, that's all is sufficient to realize. And that's the reason a Kalyan Mitra is so important in anybody's life, to take him from darkness to light. And that's the reason Buddha says Sotapanna is a stage when you have cut off the darkness and come to light. So you have cut out the danger of the 4 lower realms. Because let's say if I had taken my wife's side and ill-treated my parents, that would be a tremendous disaster, like Moggallana. Right? I mean, my wife didn't do like what Moggallana's previous life's wife did. But she was suffering. My wife was suffering because of my father and mother. So she had only one source, that is me. And I'm not supporting her. And for no good reason, she's in trouble. Right? The only mistake she did is to marry a person, family who is in Duccharita, which she didn't know. Or rather, in her case, she knew, because we were next door neighbor. So they know. And knowingly they accepted. It's like a deer accepting to go as a food to lion, and then crying that why I should go to the lion. Right? Now, a lion doesn't have anything to say that, hey, you are a good deer, so let me throw you out. Instead, it would like to devour. So from 98 to 2010, she had to undergo torture. And the son to whom she married, it is the person whom she married, is not supporting her. Instead, it looks like he's supporting his parents. Now, let's say if I had taken the wife's side, I would have gone to hell for reacting against the parent. Now, it looks stupid, actually. Why you should not support the wife and support the parent? Because if you miss this and you get next life, you'll never have a parent, which is far more dangerous than losing a wife. So you better lose the wife for the parent. Simple. Because wife can divorce and go away. But next life you require a parent, because she has to breastfeed you. The mother has to breastfeed you. Otherwise, somebody will just take it, do whatever they want. So you require a mother. And you require a shelter. That means you require a father. If the father is gone away and only mother and child is there, and mother is killed and the child is, what happens? Orphan. Which is better? Throwing out the wife is better, or throwing out the parent is better? Throw the wife, keep the parent. Simple. Even though it looks stupid. Why it looks stupid is because we don't believe in the next life. The consequence of that. So in my case, even though she was suffering, I was seeing it, I never did anything. But when I read this Tamo Sutta, I'm very happy that the second Tamo was not happened. The situation came, I got born in a place because of the first Tamo. That means I had Duccharita while entry, Duccharita while being there, Duccharita while I exited. So you get a parent who is exactly meeting that criteria. So you choose your parent, right? The parents don't choose you. You choose the parent. The parent is just having the sexual intercourse. But you choose who should be your parent. Now, your choice of the parent is dependent on the sankharas, which creates karma. So the Duccharita karma created an exact environment for this being to enter into that womb. And what do you expect? You would have to expect Duccharita. Now, that ended and then went into the Sucharita. Great. At least from darkness to light. So in fact, in the Upanishad, Tamasoma Jyotir Gamaya. So that's exactly what is happening. Yeah, Ari.
I was just reminded in Chinese, there's a saying that I think a literal translation will be like 100 kusala dhamma, right? And then the first of all is, I think this is filial piety, sort of like being good to your parents.
Yes.
I guess it has a good amount of truth in that, because that's where where you take most debt. If you cannot even be good to your, let's say, foremost debtor, and you won't have any goodness in you.
Exactly. Yeah, Chirag.
So a couple of things. First thing, just to confirm, basically, let's say at the time of birth, at that moment, if you have Ducharita, you'll be born to a Ducharita parent, or if you have Sucharita, then you'll be born to a Sucharita parent.
Correct.
Okay.
If you have at the time of entry Ducharita in you, you will conceive in the womb which is of Ducharita. See, what you sow is what you get. So I had sown bad deeds, so I got bad parents. Let me put it that way. Yes, go ahead.
This reminds me of this in Dhamma we keep talking about this last chitta when people are dying, the last thoughts, right? And I guess this because also you said something like after a certain amount of days, let's say 7 days or how many days, beings is in just blindly searching mode because he's already lost much consciousness. So which means this sucharita, this decision that's made close to the time of death, where he already set his mind. Let me find a drunkard parents. But after that, he's just wandering, just like a bee finding.
Right, absolutely right. So what happens is at the time of the death, a complete play of his life is there, and at some point it ends. So that is taken as an input. Let's say the next life of mine, I see a drunken state. Okay. So this womb entry will be in a parent which is a drunkard. So the Ducharita Vipaka has started. Right? So now nothing that can be done. Nothing I can do to change it, right? So when I exit out of the womb, I see drunkenness. Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, this is not exactly relevant, but we're also talking about the last moment of death. But also, there's a few days of consciousness that he can see and hear and all that, which means that there's a chance of being changed. That's easy.
That is in the Vajrayana, but in the Buddha teaching you'll not find it. So in the Vajrayana or in the Tibetan Buddhism, they believe that you can change, you can keep on talking to that being and saying that don't do this or that. That is called bardo. Okay.
But even you were saying you were seeing your mom going around for a while.
That moment, right? Yes, that moment, that day.
During that moment, let's say he sees good things. His heart can feel with joy and he can change it.
Yeah, because for the 3 days of her existence without body, she will be confused. He or she is confused because they can go wherever they want, right? So there's like I'm seeing my mom not requiring to have open the key, and she's entering and doing all kind of things because there's confusion now. It's a consciousness, right? Basically, I and you or anyone sitting here is just consciousness. We have
at this moment, this final decision may not have been made. This replay and stopping at a frame, this happened before or after this?
That I'm not that clear. Okay. But whatever it is, that has happened. So it is going to pull it from there, right? See, let's say it has happened at the time of death, but it has come out, so there's a lot of confusion. Just like I lock my front door, I try my desperate attempt to open it up, something like that. So I want to go back to the body, which I can't do, so I keep on traveling. Then this takes over, the next thought takes over. So that is the next chitta. The chuti is cutting, right? Achyuta is non-cutting, so now it is cut. So when it's cut, it takes time. It takes time, a new chitta has to arise. So when the next new chitta arises, it arises with what? Whatever has appeared. So it connects. It connects one to the another. So that is the stream. There was no stream. The stream is created. Now let's take this example that I ill-treated my parents. Okay. And took everything from them, money, this, that, and threw them out on the road, and then they died. And after dying, I'm saying that, I used to love my parents and blah, blah. I took all them property and other things. So stealing, right? Basically, what I did is stealing. Now, at my death time, what should happen? The 10 immoral deeds are there, right? The first one, Panati Pata, have happened. Adinadana has happened. Kameshu Michachara has happened. Like that, everything is there. So, it's no guess that even with so much of money, position, power, blah, blah, all that, that just evaporates, right? So, this Duccharita comes up on the surface. That Sankhara comes up on the surface. So, the Bija, the seed is out. So the consciousness latches onto that seed and now it germinates. So what it should find? It should find a similar situation where you can increase that. So it goes from here into there. Yes.
And it came up because it's one of the heavier type, right?
That is the yes, the heavy. Say there's so many seeds, but what is near? What is the most strongest? That will come first, not the weakest. In the nature also, strong wins, the weak lose. So the stronger the karma, the deed, that will come on the surface. So whatever comes on the surface, consciousness latches onto it. So I am that consciousness which will latch onto this Duccharita and starts to function as a Duccharita. And I get Duccharita Vipaka. What I'm going to get now is the fruit of the past action. So the parents are such a way, they are so abusive, they don't care for anything. And there can be a stage in where a sister has sex with a brother. This is happening, like a brothel house and so many things, right? So you're born under that, where you find anything not being immoral. Stealing doesn't become immoral. Any kind of immoral activity, including having sex with father, sex with mother, sex with sister, sex with this, that, everything is okay now. It's all part of it. So anything you take from then on, it just keeps on popping up. Now, what's the possibility of that person getting changed? It's impossible, because then after that it goes to hell. Then whenever it finds an opening, and then, because the second tamo will keep on pushing it down. The first tamo is already there, and the second tamo is his own intention in this life. So he will not get a Kalyan Mitra to say, boss, what you're doing is wrong, stop it. Yes, go ahead.
I guess a good useful lesson we can learn from overall is that if you get a Tamils person in your life, better not fight, right?
Yes.
Better find the best way you can, try to segregate or some way to just stay.
Let's say, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say the son whom is born to us is Tamo. Better stay away. You can't change him, because that is running in him or her. But you can escape. But you support Tamo. You had Tamo earlier, right? Now there is this Bija, this seed, which is second Tamo, is going to get germinated. 99.9% you get influenced by that, because now your germination has started. In our case, me and Anjana, the being which has come is more Sucharita than me. That means if I take my past life and if I take his life, he is far better. But there are chances of he going towards Tamo if he is not careful. Because anyway, we all have Tamo. The second Tamo is the one which we can do it right now. Right? See, now the question for him would be that, why did he choose me? He could have chosen some other father. So started with some Tamo, not complete Tamo, some Tamo, and then entered, exited. Then he started doing whatever he is doing, and then the environment also changes. So Sucharita mother, Sucharita son, Sucharita father. So then all the three are working. So there's nothing which is going to take him to a wrong path, right? Which you have also seen, Harry. So basically, now if you have all the three Sucharita, father, mother, and that person, Sucharita, that's the best thing, right? So then you're bound from light to light or darkness to light. Like in his case, there's nothing depriving for him. Nothing. Intelligence, good. Money, good. Parents, good. Property, good. Everything is there for him. There's nothing that he needs to do something. So he can become a monk and get out of it rather than getting into the samsara. In fact, we had told him when he was young, if you don't want to marry, that's the best thing you can do. I don't think so any parent would say that you don't get married. They would like to have that person continue. So that's a good way of seeing things. So in his case, he came from dark going towards light. In Anjana's case, she came from, let's say, dark, then some dark, and then to light. Like that. So we can see. Yes, sir, you go ahead.
I was just thinking for the cases, my son, he has a 50-50. Not so much Sucharita, but more worldly, right? So
Yes.
this side is Dhamma. So, but he's able to see some Dhamma, so means it's leaning this side, but still, it's we'll see. Like it's not his choice.
See, he's getting influenced by you on the Dhamma. He's asking right questions. But it all depends on whether the tamo will come, the second tamo will come due to others' influence. So after some years, if he realizes that my father is the only person who can guide me, that means it just turns back, right? So that it turns back. So the consciousness is turned back, blind to the other side of it, which are in tamo. So it comes back to Sucharita, to move into light. This is a very interesting thing. And how four things work. That is, entry unknown, stay unknown, exit unknown, entry known, stay unknown, exit unknown, entry known, stay known, exit unknown, entry known, stay known, exit known, final destination also known. That's the best. So how much duccharita we would have done to not get all the four? Just think. That means entry is not known. Stay is not known. Exit, coming out of the womb also we don't know. And where are we going also we don't know. It's even more worse, right? We are just relying on what is happening to us at this point in time. Meaning, if we are in this country or that country, earning this much or that much, happy, having a good life, able to eat, able to go to a restaurant, drive here, drive there. All of that is what we are looking at. Yes.
So in Buddha's case, he has complete light throughout the entry, stay, and exit, and he knows he's gonna become a Sambuddha because all his intention is completely clear. Probably even through his birth, he's maintained that intention.
Yeah.
Right?
So when Dipankara asked Sumedha, he said, "I don't want to be an arhat. I want to know the entire thing."
Which means he has light all the way through. But for us, we already have darkness for the first.
No, we only have darkness. Now we are able to see some light.
The least we can do is just while we're living, we can get some light.
Yeah, we just get into the light. Get into the light rather than darkness. Okay, so shall we end for today and take the next? Tomorrow again, I'm in the office.
We can record it needed.
Yeah, you can record it. Yes, any question? May, Bobby, Supriya, Shreyas, Chirag, before we...
Yeah, hello.
Yes, Bobby.
Yeah, see, I was just having thought that what Arya was telling, Buddha was entered there with knowing, and then it looks like he is aware in the womb also. Maybe when the canon says that when he was actually came out, he told that this is my final birth. But then after that, I heard from many monks and everything that he doesn't know that he's going to become a Buddha after that. So he was not he was a bodhisattva, but he was not knowing that he is going to become a Buddha. He only know after that initial declaration. He didn't know, it seems. And also one other thing is that when you told, don't be very careful with your parents. If you do bad things, you won't get a parent in your future lives, or good parent. But it makes sense that in some of the hell that it is spontaneously born. I think.
Correct.
So they don't have a parent at all. Yeah.
Exactly.
So it is dangerous. But in same like in logic, in some of the heavenly worlds, you don't have a parent. They are also spontaneously born.
Correct.
Yeah. So
Correct.
I thought I'll just
No, if you are continuing in the same existence, like you're a Sotapanna and continuing in the same existence, it's better you don't ill-treat your parent. Like when that monk in Sri Lanka told me you're a Jati Sotapanna, is wanting to reflect on that. Even with that kind of issue with my parent, I never took anything to do any harm, basically, even though they are doing major harm to me. Okay, but didn't do anything. So it is nice to see it works. So yes, Chirag.
Yeah, I'd like to say something once you finish with the thought.
No, I'm done. Go ahead.
Okay, so I was also thinking about dharma a little bit, right? I think one of the things I have thought about over time is, to let adharma happen to you is also a form of adharma. Let's say, dharma has to be followed both ways. So, let's say, in this case, one of your parents was treating you very badly and you were letting them mistreat you. So, isn't that, at some level, a form of adharma that you are letting happen?
Yes, in this life, yes, it is adharma. You are supporting adharma. But if you take a complete picture like what he's showing here, you're getting what you did. Simple. If I take only this life, that's the reason one of the Michya Ditti is you will not believe in the next life. Meaning, I say, yeah, there is next life, but in true sense, I don't agree that there is next life. Because this life thing is one long thing cut into various parts. It's part by part by part by part by part. We are seeing it. We are not seeing the whole. The body is getting changed at some moment and the situation is changed in that state. Right? So, Anjana is also having the same question, so I will answer both of you. What if you take a action, slap the father, send him to prison, call 1-800 or whatever you want to do, okay, and have him punished for whatever? Fine, fair, absolutely good thing. In fact, my photo can come in the paper. May not be the right action, but Chirag, you are missing the point. You will have to get angry to do anything. So you are bringing in dvesha, right? It burns. You can't use discernment along with dvesha. So it's not possible. So I will have to hate my father, I would have to hate my mother, and then take action. So the hatredness should be there. So when hate comes in, I can go to any extent. Let's say, fight, in the sense, court fight, this fight, all fights are fights in any sense to be. Now, I'm unhappy the way he has treated my wife. I'm unhappy the way he has treated me. Now I say that why should my wife suffer? But Actually, there is no wife who is suffering. It's another duccharita or sucharita which is suffering. There is no son per se, it's a duccharita, sucharita which is suffering. There is no parent per se except for sucharita, duccharita, right? If you really see from the discernment or way to viveka, that is discrimination and seeing what is right and what is not right. So if you were to take adharma, yeah. No, why don't you speak? It's better. Otherwise, I half thing comes on.
Okay, so yeah, I didn't want to interrupt you. So I was just thinking, let's say in this case, I think the hatred can come, but if you let it pass away and you let your discernment come back, I think then you can take right action.
No, I'll tell you what will happen. So let's take this example, what you're saying. Now my father hits me when I was, let's say, some years. He hits me, he does torture or whatever it is. Why is it happening? I can't discern. I have only two things. Hit back or get him hit because I'm angry with my father, or run away from home, or throw tantrums and etc., etc., etc. Because I don't know, because I'm in the second tamo or the first tamo. Now what discernment can I use? Nothing. Second, accept to it and take it. Anyway, it is part of tamo. But the second one is better than the first one, because in the first one you are reacting to it, which can lead you into a worse state than the present state. Even though it looks like covered eyes, it looks like you don't have any courage to stand up and this and that. People can come and tell me, Vilas, what you're doing is wrong, you should give him back. Right? It's the right thing to do, basically. But that's part of duccharita. Yes.
I think in general what would happen if I were to guess is that if you do something, let's say you call someone and took away the parents, right, they could put in jail. So even though you can justify rationally, you say this is the right thing, a part of you feels so much guilt, right? There's the tremendous guilt of putting your parents in jail, let's say.
Exactly.
And so that guilt will cause a lot of self-abuse and all that. So lifelong, you're going to be abusing yourself some way, right? Which will eventually take you down.
Yes. In the case of Ajatashatru, had his father not died, he would have born in a worser place as human. Or he could have become a Sotapanna. That's what he says in Samanya Parasutta. Because he tortured his father and he ultimately made him killed. Because he was thinking that his father, he wanted to become a king, number one. Number two, he wanted to take revenge against his father. So basically that drove him to put him in prison and give him all kind of torture till the time he's dead. And then when his mother told him that your father sucked this, that and all that, then he felt, oh shit, what did I do? And then by the time he went there, his father was dead. Right? So that made him to go to hell irrespective whether he was a king. Right? Because of ill treatment of his father. No matter what justification he had to give, that my father was like this and like that, and that's the reason I made Bimbasara get into the jail or whatever it is. Now, Bimbasara didn't do anything about his son. He could have retaliated, but he didn't do. Might be called as a cowardice or whatever, but he was born in heaven and this guy went to hell. You see the fun. It's exactly like that. So it might look stupid of someone taking revenge on someone and that was not required, and then that was situation. You chose to play on the situation and you got yourself muddled with the situation, so you went into hell. If you've not done that, taken the situation as a situation, because any situation will go anyway. Any which way it will go. Let's say my wife would have divorced. Fair, fine deal, good deal. right? She and her son would have stayed somewhere, and I would have stayed with my parents. We are separated till my parents' death, and there ends a matter. Over. That duccharita wouldn't have happened. Otherwise, that what he is written there would happen. I'll be born in a low family. Even though I'm not being born as an animal or whatever it is, right? Still, I'll be born in a low family. Now you're going to do a same action, which will take me to hell. Then what would have happened to the Buddha Dhamma, what I'm getting now? It's gone forever till the right environment comes, and we don't know when. So which is better? So, Chirag, an open question for you to think. Which is dharma, which is adharma? Think it over when we meet tomorrow. Yes, Shreyas.
So, is there a balance to all of this, or is endurance the only way possible?
Endure, khanti.
Yeah, I thought so.
And in Sanskrit, kshanti.
Yeah. Okay.
Endure the pain. And what does he say to Angulimala?
Yes.
They're beating him. It's not his mistake. Actually, he collected 1,000 fingers for his teacher. Because he gave an assignment. Okay, and they beat him black and blue. Right? Forget the giving the food. They beat him. And Buddha stands there smiling and say, Angulimala, endure. He could have retaliated. It looks cowardice, but not. Because if you want to go from darkness to light, you have to do this. If you want to do the other way around, you can retaliate instantaneously, because that dvesha is going to come, because raga, dvesha, moha is anyway there. So you have a dvesha, because without that you can't retaliate with your parents. Not possible. If I were to slap my father, I should have so much anger. Or hit him, or do whatever with him, or twist his hand, throw him out, kick him, do something. Because the pain he has inflicted on me, then I need to hit him back. Right? Or make some goons to hit him. Simple. Actually, I can tell you a small story before I end. My father, he had a house which he wanted to give it on rent. Every year, every time I used to find a tenant, he had an argument with me, and he said, I will find tenant for myself. You don't have to do anything. And I said, okay, do it. Then he got one tenant. That tenant had many people. So the many people used to come and stay at that house, which he didn't want it. He was a very disciplined person. Okay. So he went and spoke to the agent who actually made these people come and stay. And he said that I'll give an ultimatum, they have to leave the house. And that fellow, that realtor, he bullied my father. That was the very first time in his life somebody bullied him so much that he lost his balance of the mind. So he got scared. In that scare, he died. Can you just imagine the trauma he would have now undergone by going into the hell realm, because the fear came in, and after 2-3 days he died. So you just see the turn of events. Okay, let's say he's in hell. What's the possibility of he coming back? Anyway, he's getting for whatever he has done to me or to whatever it is, right? So what's the point in I also doing the same thing and ending in the same place? Now that is adharma from my point of view. Yes, go ahead.
So is it true with that tremendous amount of fear, he's going to manifest a situation where
yes, absolutely,
fear is constantly experienced?
Yes, he would be experiencing that, because even on his just a day before his death, right? He was in so much of fear. He was worried that the money should come and this should come and etc. etc. So if I really see his life, he's lived in fear. He didn't have parents. He was born, he was taken as an orphan, right? So he lost his mother, then he lost his, he lost his father, then he lost his mother, and then his uncle and aunt have been taking care of him. Then he was doing all kind of things and then got into wrong things and whatever it is. So even in his current life, he didn't have a parent. So now you can see the tamo happening. One tamo, he doesn't have a parent, and the second tamo is he's doing wrong things. So twice. So what's the possibility of he being even born as a human is so, what I can say, remote possibility. Even if it is, he's going to land up in a even more worse place. I only wish that being who was my father gets a good existence or gets into Dhamma in some way. And let's take this. If I was Sotapanna from the beginning, he's treating an Arya, which creates even more danger. So see the fun. It's endless pain, misery. So this is thing we need to reflect. Chirag, so tomorrow also you need to join, unfortunately, till we finish this this portion only, and then you can decide to leave or whatever you want to do. But tomorrow again you have to be there. Okay.
Yeah, I think this one is a very interesting sort of, very interesting.
Yes, you better be there till we end it. Okay. All right. See you tomorrow.